Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Leeds have just won 2-1 at home to Preston North End. Look, Preston are in 16th before this. We weren't expecting it to be a particularly tough game, and we had a lot of chances, but with everything else that's gone on today in the other game, it's worked out perfectly for us. Before we get into talking about the actual game, we are now top of the table, 4 games to go, and 5 points clear of third. So and Burnley and Sheffield United have to play each other. So one of them's dropping points. Hopefully Sheffield United at this point, because now it kind of has become clear that Burnley are the ones who are probably going to go up with us if we go up. So that game is massive, those two teams against each other, and our games are against Oxford. We've got a couple of other ones that are teams lower in the table. So we've definitely got the easiest run in. 4 games to go, though. It is massive. Anyway, this game then, look, we scored, 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes in. Solomon cut inside, curled one in the top corner. Great shot from distance, 1-0 up. And you thought, oh my God, couldn't be a better start. You couldn't start the game better than that. And literally like a second later, they equalised. Now, their equaliser, I think people are saying, in the chat and stuff, Firpo was at fault. I do think we have a tendency to blame one player when a goal goes in. We've seen it with Melier, we've seen it with Firpo before, we've seen it with multiple players. But I think in this case, yes, Firpo's defending, his one-on-one defending wasn't great. It kind of showed him inside and opened up that chance for him to shoot. But I do think that a lot of the build-up play to that could have been a lot better, considering that you would have Gruev, who maybe should have been covering a little bit more. You could have had some of the other defenders and midfielders tracking back and covering better, and I don't think we did that well enough, and we left Firpo very, very open in that situation. So I think there's something to be said about that. I do think that there's no way Darlow could have got anywhere near it. It was a fantastic strike by Kessler-Hayden, but it was the anomaly and not the rule, though, that they scored that goal, because it was really their only time where they actually had chances to come forward and score. It was a really good finish and a really good goal from Kessler-Hayden, but it wasn't a theme for the game. After that, Leeds properly dominated. And again, like the Middlesbrough game, where we should have definitely been 3-0 up in that game because of those decisions, the linesman's decisions. We should have been more than that as well because of some of the other chances we had. And in this game, we should have won probably 4 or 5-1, but we just couldn't finish. Peru hit the bar, he missed open goals, he had shots blocked off the line, you had Nonto having shots saved by the goalkeeper. We created enough chances to easily win this game, but it never goes like that when you're really, really trying to win a game of football and you're really kind of struggling in those situations where you're like, we've got to win this because it basically has a massive impact on whether we get promoted or not. So we did it, though. That's the thing. You can have games like that where you create loads of chances, but to still win the game, that's the main thing. Our second goal was Jayden Bogle. A cross came into the box from Solomon again towards Bogle at the back post. Bogle, who I thought was fantastic today. Bogle nipped in between 2 defenders. It was a striker's run, to be honest. He ran from the right-hand side, through the half space, cut into the box, through the 2 defenders, and got there before both of them to finish it off to make it 2-1. And that was before half-time, obviously. And then the second half, we grew and grew until pretty much near the end, where that was when a couple of nervy things happened. Darlow, for some reason, made his first mistake and just came flying out of his box and handballed it outside of his area, which gave them a free kick, which luckily Aronson put his body on the line, headed that one away. That was good. But I do think that as that went on, we were getting more and more nervous, which is expected in that situation. And you could hear every time that Plymouth had scored as well, when they equalised in the 81st minute, and then I think they scored even later than that to win it. You could hear the crowd screaming, and obviously that must have translated a little bit to the players knowing what had happened. So therefore, they are then like, okay, we've got to stick it on the line. Credit to Farker as well for some of those substitutions he made towards the end. I thought the fact that he brought Schmidt on and Byram on for the wingers and basically said, just defend, it really helped get us across the line. It did. He had Verba prepared as well, but it didn't quite manage to get him on in time. But the fact that we managed to hold on to that is a massively good sign. I've just got the table here on my other screen because I'm just like, it's just nice to look at. 42 games played, 88 points. Sheffield United are on 83 points. The good thing about Leeds and Burnley as well is that if we do finish on the same points, our goal difference is 53 and theirs is 44. So hopefully, even if we do end up on the same amount of points come the end of the season, Leeds will be the ones who come out on top because they have a superior goal difference. So, look, throughout the game, I thought Darlow played well. It was solid. He made some good saves. He made that one mistake. Bogle was fantastic. Firpo was decent. Ampadu and Rodon was strong again. Tanaka, Gruever thought played really well. Tanaka was better today, back to his best. Maybe not his best, but he was definitely back, performing a lot better than he had the past couple of weeks when he obviously got really upset about kind of the levels of performance and what had happened at Luton. Better though in this game, Tanaka was, and then you've obviously got your attackers where Solomon had an amazing first half, trailed off a little bit in the second half, but had a really good first half. Then you've got Nonto, who he didn't look like a Premier League player. Let's say that. He's obviously been on the radar of some Premier League clubs over the past couple of years. He didn't look particularly like a Premier League player when he started in this game, and that's kind of his opportunity to take whilst Dan James is out of the team with that injury. And then Piru, he needs a goal because his finishing today, whilst it wasn't horrendous, some of them were just wide and hit the bar and all those things. He just needs one to go in for his confidence to get back up again. But great performance from a lot of those players. I did think that Bamford, when he came on, he wasn't as good as what he was against Middlesbrough, but he still did kind of provide that little bit of extra hold-up play and the ability to have that experience and use his body well in those forward situations when you are really hanging on. I don't know where they got 6 minutes added time from. I really don't. That was, for me, way too long. There was a couple of injuries and a couple of substitutions, but I don't think it would have amounted to that amount of time. But we did manage to hang on. We did manage to hang on in the end. Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable win. The fact that Sheffield United lost as well. Burnley won last night, of course, so that made it a bit more annoying for us. But I think hopefully we've turned over a new leaf in terms of teams going before us and putting the pressure on us and us still managing to get through those games with a victory. 4 games to go now. In fact, let's have a look at who we've got, because I know it's Oxford on Friday. Then we've got Stoke at home, Bristol City at home, and then Plymouth away. So if we win the Oxford United one, we've then got Stoke and Bristol City at home in a row, where you've got to think, if we can get 9 points from those games, we're promoted. I mean, I don't know mathematically. Somebody will be able to tell me in the comments mathematically how it'll work. But if we win our next 2, and Sheffield United obviously have to play Burnley, is it mathematically then impossible for us to not get promoted? Like, are we mathematically promoted at that point? That remains to be seen. All we can do is win the games that are in front of us. So we'll be live again next Friday for that game against Oxford United. A huge, huge game. So make sure you come back to the channel for that. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately, though, and I'll see you in the next one.